Yes people, what is good? I am BA, back once again with another reaction in the Deadwood series. This is episode 10 of season 3 and it is called A Constant Throb. Last episode. Firstly, the Earps sort of went head to head with the Pinkertons. They were antagonising Wyatt Earp's brother. He doesn't mess around. The second time they tried it, he drew and shot one of the guys. I think he killed them. This caused a little melee where the Pinkertons ran round to try and get justice, but Seth intervened. And it was said to be a fair fight by one of the onlookers, so they couldn't really do anything. Even though it technically wasn't really a fair fight, like the Pinkerton hadn't drawn his gun, Wyatt Earp's brother straight away just shot him dead, but still, he antagonised him. Mr. Hurst sent one of the Pinkerton goons to go beat up Merrick at the newspaper office as well. Ridiculously petty, considering all he did was agree to publish something. But Mr. Hurst has shown exactly what he is like at this point, and it is not below him to do something as petty as that, clearly. And Aunt Lou was told her son had died. Absolutely brutal, and just seeing Richardson and her crying in the place where they were hanging the meat carcasses, it was absolutely heartbreaking. I feel so bad for her, and even worse, she saw all this coming and desperately tried to stop her son from working with Mr. Hurst, and he went and did it and died. So yeah, horrible outcome for Aunt Lou, and I feel so bad for her. And Cy showing up at the end of the episode being completely threatening to Joni and Jane. Jane running away and getting the big guy to come and fucking stand ground so that Cy didn't do anything. Horribly intimidating. What is the point of Cy doing this? He's still a relatively powerful person in the town, and he's the only one of the saloon owners in Mr. Hurst's back pocket, which surely gives him hope of being powerful for a long time to come. And then on top of that, he's got multiple fish to fry in the forms of having a little beef with Al and having beef with Seth. So why the fuck is he wasting his time still wanting some sort of control or ownership over Joni when she's not doing him any harm and went away to live her own life? And on top of that, when he'd been stabbed, she still came back and aided him to good health, and he still went to her door and did that. Absolutely pitiful. And my favourite shot of last episode was when Al was looking off the balcony, as he always does, but across the street. Hurst was looking over his balcony as well. And then Al walked inside, and it was very symbolic that at this moment Hurst now had the power, and it was him watching over the town, when it would usually be Al. So without further ado, let's get things moving. This is episode 10, season 3, A Constant Throb. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it. Forgot to mention we had the amateur night, open public performance in the streets of Deadwood. Good to see a little bit of theatre and entertainment in a usually very serious town. Has David Milch created any other TV shows? The name isn't familiar with me, but if he's the creator of it, I would be interested to know what else he'd done.
Christ! What's wrong? What's wrong?
Always a good start to an episode when we get to see Cy in pain.
I was examining myself for fucking pus.
Bullshit.
There was me saying last episode, I think the dog's feeling better. There's his cough again. Shit.
If I see any further evidence of self-mutilation, that will be the last day I treat you.
Did Cy reopen that wound, throwing his little hissy fit at Joni?
To hear my fortune told.
There'll be none of that on these premises.
Nor were those my true intentions.
Damn, Shaughnessy has a very strict policy. No fortune reading on the premises.
2C.
As your faith must prescribe receiving bribes, credit the 5.
Someone mentioned in the comments last week, by the way, Shaughnessy is the same actor from episode 1 who was killed by Dan after he was swindled out of the gold claim. Completely can't remember that guy's face, but I did not realise it until someone mentioned it for sure.
The devout Shaughnessy has a week in advance to your account.
Take it back from him. I won't take money from you.
Don't think we've met this woman yet, have we? If we have, she's been like quiet and hasn't had much speaking dialogue yet.
And to learn, must you not live? And how will you do so amidst the thoroughfare's depravities?
Yeah, the only way to get life experience is to go out into the forecourt and see all the mad shit go down.
No small part. The hotel's amelioration under your regime.
This guy loves busting out an unnecessarily long word. We get it, you have a dictionary, you're still a piece of shit. Did they teach how to not be a piece of shit in Yankton? Or just big words?
I thought the evening went well.
Wonderful.
Very much to our purposes, the idea of us in the camp.
Yeah, it was quite the introduction, like, hey everybody, we're here, we know you're all shooting each other, dealing with drug addictions, death, natural disease and things like that, but if you like a bit of theatre, you know where to come. What the fuck? Someone just fired a shot at Miss Ellsworth.
I believe someone's shooting at the former tenant.
Obviously this is Mr. Host's doing. Who the fuck fired the shot though?
Get Mrs. Ellsworth undercover. Excessive fucking caution, but you yourself, sir, are absolutely safe.
Absolutely safe, sir.
I wonder if Al said that straight away just to be like, yeah, we know this is you. Also, it was good to see Al and Charlie Udder be the first two people to her defence there.
Oughtn't someone look out for who fired?
Richardson, look into who fired.
He's a great guy, but I don't fancy him as much of a detective. No idea what Silas is up to there.
Dozens of authors as need be considered.
Yes.
So I know someone's in there.
This is actually a long overdue conversation, you know. Mrs. Ellsworth is an incredibly powerful person who has her own beef with Mr. Hurst, and it's about time she joined forces with Al in this communal hatred for Mr. Hurst.
Who the fuck shot at her?
Who the fuck knows Hurst? Her first husband's family? They both work with the fucking Pinkertons.
Could have been something to do with her first husband as well, but my money would be more on Hurst getting one of the Pinkertons to do it.
God damn it! Second-rate deployment, Dan, sending you off for reinforcements to come back to a camp in ruins.
Thank God the assassin was a terrible shot, by the way.
She can choose, or she can mix them, whatever she wants.
What the fuck you telling me?
We have not seen enough of Jill this season.
Every step of fucking adventure.
So unnecessary. It's amazing that at this point in the show, comments like that, when in season 1 you would hate him for it, they're forgivable due to the other aspects of his character. This show sometimes challenges you to detect a heart of gold.
Be available for whatever nefarious fucking carryings on you assign him, because I do not take orders from you.
I like it when Charlie has a little grumble to himself.
Maybe you just ain't find what you like to eat yet.
Get out, Jewel.
Oh, that's a shame. I think Jewel and Mrs. Ellsworth would have made a great little friendship.
Did you ever have bacon?
I very well might.
Bye, Jewel.
Thank you.
Jewel does such a good job at just keeping a smile on her face, even though the majority of the people in her life, even the ones who actually do love her, treat her like shit.
I'm very grateful to be under Mr. Swearengen's protection.
Yeah, he's a prince.
Well, he's no prince, but he has protected her.
What plate did she eat from?
She ate from them fucking both.
Well, at least it made Jewel happy. That's what you call a white lie. A sarcastic sounding white lie.
Do you believe anything you say?
I am hypothesizing.
And have you some private hypothesis as to my possible role?
Again, the one thing I do like about Hurst is he talks to these people in a way that no one else talks to them in this show. Just sees right through their shit and talks to who they really are. He did the same thing with Sai.
Cannot allow fastidious morality to distract them from the exigencies of commerce, can they, Mr. Hurst?
Never thought I'd say this, but I want to beat this guy to death with his own Oxford English dictionary.
Are you saying you want to fuck me?
What?
Well, you keep calling yourself Alcibiades to my Socrates.
I don't think that was an accurate interpretation, but I admire Hurst turning the tables with just an accusation like that.
Concerning the upcoming elections, grants my suit some small virtue. As you gaze upon me, sir.
Fucking hell, this guy is such a grovelling little slimy prick. He reminds me of Farnham, actually.
Compelling perspective.
Time to go back to Yankton.
For me?
Yes.
I never thought I'd be giving Hurst bonus points, but to order this guy the fuck off the show is a great call.
I like winter, when snow and ice cover the ground.
I don't know if she's actually doing a syllabus in that classroom or just like speaking her thoughts out loud to the kids. Just holding a blank book. She's went insane since the death of her son.
He's got a note pinned to him now.
Take it off him. And then stick him in the eye with a fucking pin.
I don't mean it.
I hope Richardson joins Team Al.
If I wanted to tell you anything, I'd have told you. Don't send the imbecile over with no more notes.
I can't remember all that.
Can you remember?
It's good that Richardson knows his own limitations. The fuck is wrong with Mr. Ellsworth?
The fuck was the logic when he sent that giant captain to fight you?
Get me killed.
It wasn't to get you killed.
What would his other motivation for it be? I assumed that's what it was, because Dan's Al's closest ally, so it's taking away your closest ally, just as you did to Hurst by killing the captain. Maybe there was something else to it though. Maybe he was demonstrating how expendable anybody on his side was to him.
Against 4, you being my missing 5th, the equal of 10 of Hearst's fucking mercenaries and Bullock.
no fucking slouch either.
Anytime you hear them discussing it out loud, you're instantly reminded of how, perilous the situation actually is if it just went into a gun battle. Of course, there is the wild card that the Earp gang could join forces with Al, so then we've got, Al, Seth, Dan, Jane. It's starting to look like a pretty big team. Silas, the Earp gang, the team grows. I don't know, if you actually think about it on paper, it is starting to look pretty even, depending on who joins forces with who.
Hire the guns without stealing, to herd them back here to help us out, not stopping to get laid and lead.
I'm so worried that this doesn't go to plan. If Al can actually get a gang of reinforcements in town, this shit is looking like it's going to be an epic battle.
When did you start giving that cocksucker Swearingen to buy your leave, and if you fucking say so?
I forget that Jane never really got to know Al like the rest of us did. She still sees him as the Al we knew from season 1.
We could release you to other responsibilities, Mr. Utter, and I could run get you if they headed up.
Assuming the unlikely need.
So now it's Jane and Joni keeping a lookout for Mrs. Ellsworth.
You get out of my way or I'll kill you fucking first.
Fruitless struggle, Ellsworth, and stupid goddamn thinking.
So he's literally tied him up because he knows he's going to instantly react furiously and attempt to kill them. That's cool.
So they could do to you what they could have done to her, but they didn't. And to Bullock, too, maybe.
Ah, so they think they were trying to bait him into a response by shooting at her.
Them shots were meant for maybe rethinking your tenure here, huh?
So it was purposely a warning shot just to drive into motion a series of events, rather than an actual assassination attempt.
Get that fucking angler fulminating. Tangling is fucking tackling the fucking like.
Mr. Sword.
Sorry.
I mean, I understand Al's process of thought here, but still, if it was an assassination attempt, he's literally sending her to her slaughter. He is obviously right, but yeah, it's still a dangerous idea. Because you know what Horst's like, he might be like, oh, he's trying to mock me by her walking in public so quickly after a gunshot went past her head. Kill her this time. He is capable of doing shit like that.
I'm quite alright.
I thank God for it.
I think this is going to maybe make Mr. Ellsworth want to get back with Mrs. Ellsworth as well.
Why in heaven's name would you want to do that?
To demonstrate his tactics' failure?
She likes the strategy Al proposed. I wouldn't mind seeing it just to see the look on Horst's face as he looks down from his balcony.
I'd not have you step one more foot forward, Ellsworth.
As I fucking understand.
Oh, he's such a man of emotion, Ellsworth. He is definitely doing well not to go crazy here. So satisfying to see his little face. And she called his bluff. She made it to the bank successfully, letting Horst know she knew exactly what the deal was and it's not working.
The man you refer to knew the note he bore might bring about that outcome.
Horst is slowly turning into Santa Claus throughout this season.
Out loud to prove you are lettered and not a liar unfit for my employ.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody in the world Mr. Horst talks up to, and there just isn't.
Why don't you come to my office while I compose my reply?
I wondered if I was going to pull the old knife out on the Pinkerton in the office. That's his old office trick.
The girl who danced last evening, vagabond sort hodgepodge costume.
I know what you mean.
Should be staying in the theatre.
Was this the woman who was in charge of some of the other performers who went to the amateur night, and now he's trying to poach her talents?
We served in the 69th New York.
Was that a MiG regiment?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Al's going to be able to work his magic here and get these guys on his side. He has got a way with words. He's definitely better at sweet-talking people than Mr. Horst is.
Mr. Hurst came to him and said, make it last. And I think that was halfway selfish of Mr. Hurst.
I could see why that would piss off the Pinkerton. Horst put his man in unnecessary danger just to try and make a point for himself.
So should I tell Mr. Hurst that there's no message?
Yes! Oh, wow. I was not expecting Al to fucking just do this. This is amazing.
2 or 3 ribs. I'm talking about that newspaper man's ribs, you fucking cunt.
There will be heavy repercussions for this, and I welcome all of them. Still worth it.
But it's a constant fucking sore spot and throb.
Penguin's got the clap.
I beg you, release your man stallion from his he-stable for another gallop round the ring.
The Monopoly man's trying to pass go.
Late in the day.
Perfect. We'll be waiting.
Typical with the Pringles guy, once he pops, he can't stop.
I want to know that I'm gonna be fucking heard. That what I have to fucking say will matter.
This guy turned into a little bitch real quick, didn't he?
I'm not gonna say fucking anything. What do you think of that?
Al might not be the most technical fighter, but a triple dick kick will generally work, 100% of the time.
That's a stupid name for a whore. Makes the chicks feel like they're stammerers. Like they're in the fucking Alps.
He's like an auto hoe name generator you get on the internet. You just ask Si for a hoe name and click go and he comes out with one.
Do I see the beginnings of a tear in the corner of your left eye?
Again, you can judge people best by how they treat people they feel like they have authority over.
Close the fucking door, stupid!
They could have given us a likeable moment with him there, just saying like, oh, close your door on the way out, sweetheart, or something. But no, another piece of shit moment for Si.
Before or after the elections?
I don't know. Please don't.
Ah, so the guy's telling him that Horst is in cahoots with the guy from Yankton to fund the people that he wants to get into positions of power. This is one of the most gangster scenes I have seen Al in this entire show. Imagine beating the shit out of Horst's top Pinkerton and walking out on the balcony to say hello.
Yes? Yes? Come in.
Farnham with his multiple attempts to say a nice human-sounding yes.
You seem distraught.
I am not! I await an outcome!
You definitely seem a little distraught. I'm going to side with Farnham in this case.
I know the smell.
You have been to and fro in the world.
It pleased me to find out.
What a fucking creepy guy. This is the ultimate rat moment. Imagine getting your face spat on and then being such a grovelling buffoon that when asked if you want to wipe it off, you reply no. That is a new and pretty disgusting low for Farnham there. And Horst obviously did that as like an instantaneous get back because he knew Al was getting one up on his Pinkerton. Didn't have the balls to run over to the gem to stop it, of course. He just picked on the weakest person he knew was associated with Al. Also, it's quite funny how this guy, before he went here, said to Mr. Horst, the last Pinkerton that went to Al's with a note died, and Horst was like, no, this one won't end that way. Wrong.
Did you and he have some kind of misunderstanding, sir, that he took for pretext?
After seeing Horst win most situations so far, this is gold.
The kind of generous inquiry I'd expect you to make. How's your back, Mr. Hurst?
What a closing line as well. That is an absolute knockout blow by Al. Fuck you, Horst. I do not know how he's going to get revenge from that situation, but he is going to be licking his wounds like never before after that. Surely he's smart enough to figure out that his man has just been executed.
Some stupid fucking thing. Stupid fucking dream I had.
Is Jane sober today? She doesn't seem completely sober right now, but I swear she hasn't drunk today. Maybe she's just hungover.
Charlie's, as usual, on the lookout for Bill. That's as usual too.
That makes me literally reminisce about season 1. I wish Wild Bill had been in this show longer. Such a great character to kill off so quickly. I don't know how many times I've mentioned that throughout my reactions to this show, but it's got to be getting up to at least 10ish.
Don't you know this is the night you couldn't look out for that little girl when you was at Cochrane's and Swearingen come in and scared you?
It's interesting she had that dream because, as I said in my reaction last episode, when Si scared her at the door, it was the first time I'd seen her like that since Al intimidated her in the doctor's office in episode 1. And it's almost like her mind subconsciously regressed to that because it was the last time, so that's why she had that dream.
Sung around to her. And then you went ahead and kissed me.
It's not like Jane to ask for a kiss, but that is as close as you will ever get to Jane asking for a kiss. Joni and Jane are the new Deadwood power couple. I don't know what Richardson's up to, but I bet it's something innocent and adorable.
Where has she performed?
I believe her name is Josiane.
She is French.
I believe.
These women are instantly readying jealousy mode.
I won't have it. This getting off on the wrong foot.
So you commit us to a long relation with Josiah.
This woman is literally, though, preemptively preparing to get off on the wrong foot. Talk about not giving someone a chance.
Does this performance seem genuine?
Seemed pretty good, to be honest, yeah. 10 out of 10. Look at Seth's absolutely seething face. Timothy Olyphant is so good at demonstrating like pent-up frustration and fury.
Let us give thanks.
Don't let Seth do it. This will be one hell of a speech. Okay, and that was episode 10 of season 3 of Deadwood, A Constant Throb, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, A Constant Throb, what did I think of that? This has got to be, for me, hands down, my favourite episode of season 3 so far. It's literally a blur, everything that came before that last 10 minutes, because that last 10 minutes was so absolutely golden. So yeah, shit started to go down this episode when Mrs. Ellsworth got a shot taken at her in public, and it looked like it was a failed assassination attempt, but it does make more sense looking back that it was a warning shot to draw out Mr. Ellsworth into conflict. Because these Pinkertons are professionals and shit, you would think Mrs. Ellsworth just walking through town and they've got rifles, you would assume their first shot would probably have been a headshot. So yeah, this sparks this series of events though, where first of all they capture Mr. Ellsworth to make sure he just doesn't go off on a blind rage looking for revenge. And then their next play is to let Mrs. Ellsworth just walk to the bank anyway, just to show like we know what your plan was and she's not going to be intimidated, nor Mr. Ellsworth going to be drawn out into conflict because of your plan, and she's going to do her day as normal. And Mr. Hurst was looking down on his balcony as she walked to the bank, so he got the message. He instantly thought of a next plan, which was to send Al a little message saying, yeah, I saw what you did, etc. And Al wasn't having it. He was keeping all this internal throughout the episode, so I never for one moment thought that it was going to end in violence. I even as a joke when he offered the guy into his office said, is Al going to pull out the old knife here? But I meant it in humour, because he's done it in his office before. But I honestly thought he was going to be diplomatic and maybe use his ability with conversation to slowly try and turn this guy around to his side. And at that point I almost feel bad for that Pinkerton guy, because he's just doing his job. He even said to Mr. Hurst, the last guy that went round there died, and Mr. Hurst assured him that that would not be the case for him. He goes round there, Al listens to what he has to say, even sort of wins the guy over a little bit. The guy's giving him compliments as he leaves, and then bang, out of nowhere, Al just attacks him. Goes straight for brutal hits to make sure the guy doesn't get up, all groin and throat and stuff like that. And this guy's on the ground writhing in pain, and I believe in that moment he told Al that Mr. Hurst was bribing these politicians so that he would eventually control the country through the political system. So Al now has that information. How he will be able to thwart that, I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, this was hands down my favourite episode of the season so far. Just to see Al do that to that Pinkerton, get the information, then cut his throat, while going out onto the balcony, conversing with Mr. Hurst, and then going back out after killing him, and saying, oh, that guy said he was going there, he must not be loyal to you, did you have a falling out? Just absolutely bitch slapped him. And then as a beautiful cherry on top of the cake, he shouted, how's your back, as Mr. Hurst went in. He's even got the inside scoop on the well-being of Mr. Hurst's back out here, and Mr. Hurst had to hobble back inside off his balcony, absolutely defeated. It was a complete and utter devastating knockout by Al, and it is so rewarding to see that after how Mr. Hurst has carried himself throughout this entire season. Absolutely amazing. I've got a feeling that this will not be the last time Mr. Hurst has a say in things, so I'm going to enjoy this victory while it is here in the moment and now. I know this is probably going to lead to some bad shit in future, but in this exact moment in time, fuck you, Mr. Hurst. That was amazing to watch. Maybe you should go for some more back therapy to help yourself calm down after such an ordeal. And I genuinely can't wait to see what the response to this shit is going to be, so needless to say, I will be counting down the days till the next episode. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below, and share this around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.